We are leaving Minnesota, and it is snowing. And I wanted to show you one thing. We're doing some art shows in Texas, so we're taking all of our screens that we use at art shows, but probably the most unique use of my own hand-dyed yarn. I wouldn't use others' hand-dyed yarn, only my own, was to drape a skein over each screen so that they don't, and each screen has a skein on it. It's hard to tell, but they're in there, so they don't rattle on the trip. Plus, I get to have my yarn in Texas.
Do you like to look at what I turned out to be between the trees and stuff?
Okay, you are now on the podcast.
I am on the podcast. I'm cleaning stuff, shoveling
Sorry,
stuff.
Sorry, you were never
going
gonna.
to get me. I got to
You
go
were
back to work.
never gonna be on the podcast.
Never going to be on the
And
podcast?
there you are.
No, I'm not. You can't see me. Look at me. Clean the car off. Where's
Snow.
Texas?
Yay, snow.
Take me to Texas.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Virginia and Charlie here with episode 5 of Yarn and Glass. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, and
What's
what's on the agenda?
What's on the agenda?
On the agenda today,
okay?
there will be a little introduction now and a little bit about my Etsy store, and then we're gonna pause and go into the spare bedroom, which is kind of the yarn room, and talk about sweaters through the ages, or through my ages.
Do your
And
okay.
then we've done a video called Fast Paced Harry Potter, where I did a mosaic from start to finish, fast. Well, I didn't do it fast. The camera sped it up, and we're going to talk through it a little, I think.
Okay.
And that will be episode 5.
I have a question for you, though.
Yeah.
What's all that stuff on right in front of you, all those bearded
Well,
guys?
here's the problem.
Is that going to be coming out soon?
There is a problem.
Yes, there is a problem.
The gnomes have multiplied.
They have.
Yeah, and and some of them actually are not even here. So there were more. I kind of can't stop making them. So I have put a section on my Etsy store, Mosaics by Virginia, with the gnomes.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay. They're really
because I can't
you
stop.
can't say
What am I going to do with all these
it's,
gnomes?
gnome addiction. You
It
call it.
is a gnome addiction, but I do kind of
They're
enjoy
cute.
them.
Yeah, they are really cute.
So so they're on the same site as my mosaics by Virginia. The rest of my social media stuff will be at the end on a list.
Well, one thing what we need to say is that I'm going to try to attempt to make a gnome home.
You are. That's
I'm going
right.
to attempt that, and we have a sale coming up.
That's right. We have
down here
3
in Texas.
sales.
We're in
coming
Texas
up.
now.
We are in
3
Texas.
sales. And I'm going to try to have something we can show the gnomes off, and they can have a home, and then we can sell them out of the home.
We will show it to you next time, hopefully. It's going to have...
Hopefully.
We're nuts.
Let's use the word
My
hopefully.
daughter said we're nuts.
We are nuts, yeah.
But it's going to be 2 stories with a little attic. And the gnomes will be on each floor, and there'll be one in the attic, right? And it'll have, of course, the... sloped roof, right? Peaked roof. And on each side, this is the cool part, on each side there will be a window, a cutout window with clear glass with a little gnome mosaic in the window.
Kind of like stained glass, right?
Yeah, like glass on glass,
Glass on
stained
glass, stained glass,
Yeah.
okay.
Tiny little mosaic, gnome on each.
No,
And that will be the gnome home.
Well, we're hoping I can make that.
Soon. Because we have 2 pop-up shows coming up and a big show in Dripping Springs, Texas, which is called Rosebud, and it's a significant art show. I'm not sure the gnomes are appropriate for that show, but we'll see.
Okay.
They'll be in the car just in case.
They'll be sitting in the car. They're going to drive.
They may have to stay in the car.
Yeah.
They may not be appropriate, but they will go to the pop-up shows in Round Rock, Texas. So yeah,
Okay.
and on my Etsy shop. So
was this enough for the start stuff to
yes.
get people started?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're going to pause it.
We're going to pause it. Hold on just a second. I'm
We
pausing.
are in the yarn room, right? Every drawer and every closet shelf is filled with yarn. Oh, there's a triangle loom over there I've never even used. I don't know. I don't have the energy. But so this is about sweaters. And I started knitting young, pretty young, but I think my main drive of knitting was in my 30s, in the 80s. 80s.
That was
We're aging ourselves.
yeah.
But that's okay.
It's a long time ago.
You know, we can be old.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much a lot of these sweaters were made in the 80s. And yeah, I have some really funny disasters here. This pile, I'm not going to show all these sweaters, so don't worry. This pile is, I've tried to gather every sweater from both homes into this house to just kind of check it out, how many sweaters I have. I'm sure I have gotten rid of some of them. So, I mean, this isn't even all of them, but yikes. Yeah, I need to make some decisions soon, right?
Sure.
Yes, or we're just going to have to move out, you know? So I think one of my first sweaters, I'm not sure, McCall's Needlecraft. See that? Yeah, Fleur de Lis.
What do you call it?
Fleur de Lis. Oh, God, I hope I'm right.
Well, we're close anyway. You know what I mean.
Does it have a title? Probably not. Fleur de Lis. Boy, we're
nice
good.
work.
Okay, so, and of course, you know, I had no imagination. I did it in the same colors. And I actually wore this sweater. Can you imagine?
Well, it's really big.
Well, yeah, the 80s. Don't forget it was the 80s.
Okay, but it looks so big.
I know, and I was a lot smaller.
God, you just disappeared, didn't you?
I know. It's like double what I was then. We wore we did wear our sweaters big. And I had this tendency of not understanding sewing.
What's that stuff back there?
Sewing in it. You're supposed to weave these in.
Oh, okay.
They're not supposed to be here.
Tapeworms.
And I guess I thought it would be extra warmth. I'm not even sure. But I don't think I knew that I was supposed to, or I didn't care. One or the other. I probably didn't care.
Looks like something out of a horror show.
So this one I actually wore, but it's odd.
Yeah, that is
I know.
Unusual.
And I still have the pattern from 1980 something. That's crazy. I have a lot of these patterns. So that's, we're going to put that one over there.
Put that over there.
Okay, this is a mistake that was made probably in the same era. I mean, that's a nice summer sweater, right? That would be pretty, right?
Yeah,
it seemed like a good idea.
Sure,
and
why not?
So I made it out of cotton, and cotton grows. Yeah.
Cotton grows?
Cotton grows.
I mean, like it's
it grows.
It grows. Okay.
I don't
like
know.
That.
It's not good. I don't think it's good for sweaters. I'm sure it is, but I've never made another cotton sweater since. So that is probably going bye-bye because I've hung on to some of these way long enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're historical, though. You know.
They are historical.
Okay, we're looking down here.
In the 80s, and I think definitely the 80s. My sister still lives in New York, and she would come for a visit to Kansas City, and we would go to Yarn Barn, the best yarn store ever, on our yearly trek there. I would go more often, but she and I would go once a year, and we would buy the current Rowan magazine, whatever Rowan magazines were out, because we loved them. You don't know what they are, but they look like. See, this one's really
so are those like ancient history too?
Yeah, these are definitely ancient history.
Okay.
Rowan pattern books, magazines that were beautiful and had beautiful patterns in them.
We get up close. So that's
yeah,
kind of cool.
I mean, I have a lot of them.
Yeah,
I probably have all of them from the 80s.
And
then we would pick a sweater from that book, and we would both make it, often the same sweater. And we would buy yarn, typically Rowan yarn, because, you know, that's what you did. And we would make the sweater. This one isn't Rowan yarn. This is, oh man, this is another one.
So you make everything big?
Okay, the problem with this sweater is it is so warm. I remember I could only wear this if I was going to be outside in a blizzard in the Arctic. I mean, that was
Yeah,
about the
it looks
only
like it.
time.
It looks like
And
it.
again, it would have fit 3 of me. I don't get
Yeah,
it. So that one's probably got to go, and I don't even think it's. I don't know.
you should
I don't
keep
know
them
if it's
'cause
worth
you made
frogging.
'em.
Frogging for non-knitters means when you frog a knit, you rip it like a frog.
Ha ha ha.
So yeah, that means take the yarn and use it for something else.
Okay.
Which is, I doubt it. So this was definitely one of my sisters and my choices. We called it the tree sweater.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see
it was
I can see a
pretty
tree in the
cool.
Yeah.
Tree in the middle.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
a tree.
actually made it twice. Again, it's the 80s.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
I
isn't
know, it's
It,
beautiful.
it looks
but
kind of big again.
do you think these will come back?
Yeah, I think they will.
Should I
People
wait?
like trees.
How long will I have to wait?
27 and a half years.
That's
they'll
what I
be back.
thought.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And
So,
and
yeah.
then at one point I was dating you, and I
Me?
wanted to make you a sweater, and
Oh.
I didn't know what size you were or how long a sweater should be. So I did this measurement. You know how you measure with your hand on your back once
Oh, I remember that. I thought you were being romantic.
to see.
No.
And I think I'm not sure this is the one, but I'm pretty sure it might be. But it turned out awesome.
I got a tree too.
You got a tree, but it turned out
But
big.
it was too long.
It was
I remember
too
that. It was
big
way
and too long,
Too big
but
and
it
too
was
long.
a tree. You got your own tree.
I got my own tree.
Very sad.
Oop.
So that was those. And oh well, here's one that was kind of cool called Ellipses, again from a Rowan magazine
That's cool.
that I made a little later, probably in the
Uh-huh.
90s. And it's a cardigan, and actually,
No, I remember
occasionally,
that. Yeah.
occasionally I still wear this one, although it is big. But it's so beautiful. Neat color work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of color work.
A lot of color in there.
And I actually, look at this. What I do.
Oh, you did the same thing with the.
I wove in the ends.
Oh, you wove them in. Okay.
Yay!
Oh, that's
I
cool.
learned. So I must have been way later because I
Yeah.
learned that you were supposed to weave in ends.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so one of my sister's trips, we both decided to make this sweater. She made it twice,
Oh, was the
actually.
elephant besides
The
that?
elephant sweater, we called it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, from the Rowan magazine.
I do remember that.
Yes, and I still occasionally wear this because I love it.
Oh,
It's
that's a cool
it's a
sweater.
cardigan. It's a coat.
Yeah.
But I have a
that's-
story about this. She was wearing her elephant sweater at Museum of Modern Art or some museum in New York, and she was standing in front of a painting wearing this sweater, and a woman came in behind her, and they were both looking at the paint. She thought the woman was looking at the painting, and the
Yeah.
woman said, "Exquisite." And my sister turned around and she said, "Yeah, the painting." She said, "No, the sweater." That's a true story. But I mean, I really did enjoy the elephant
Yeah,
sweater.
it's a really nice looking
Yeah,
sweater.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so that's the elephant sweater. Not many more. Don't worry.
We're okay.
This one I showed on one of my favorite podcasters, Emily from Fibertown, did some Fibertown on the Road episodes maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I submitted a video of us, or me. Yeah, you were in it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is that what got us into this thing?
It
Kinda.
might have spurred a little bit of, I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
on that episode, I showed this sweater, and my daughter and my daughter-in-law both said they want that sweater, which is funny because this is my zebra sweater. I
Okay,
mean,
that's a zebra,
doesn't everyone need a zebra sweater?
Not me, but yeah, everybody else does. Go ahead.
And this zebra sweater, I mean, not only
Ooh,
has the
cool.
zebra on the front,
Ooh.
but he goes,
it goes around. Look at that.
the back, and his tail goes
Oh,
around to the arm.
Man, oh God.
I
look at
know. He is
How
kind
did
of
you-
cool.
that. I don't know how you do this stuff.
I mean, this one isn't going away
Yeah.
because that's just cool.
That's cool.
That,
So
you
which
gotta
one gets a
admit.
sweater?
Again, I didn't see. This was
Oh,
early
that's
on.
good. Yeah.
Ends bad girl.
Oh, okay.
But isn't that cool?
It really
It's
is
called
cool.
color
It'd
work.
make a nice mosaic too, you know.
I like
The
zebras.
face on that would be
Yeah.
cool, a mosaic.
And you know, during college I made this, but I don't. I just it kills me that I don't have it.
Yeah.
Pineapple poncho.
Were you a hippie?
It was in gold. Yeah,
Okay, thought you
I
were.
was a hippie.
Okay.
It was gold, and I wore it all the time. And where is it? I don't know. It's gone. It's so sad. Lately, I have made a couple of Elizabeth sweaters. I do like this pattern, not a classic elite.
Okay, Elizabeth.
Yeah, and the yarn does its
you wore
own
that a
thing,
lot.
and
Yeah.
I've worn these a lot.
Yeah.
So I've kind of grown from
Yeah, I
the
remember that.
'80s to making functional. Mostly, I like cardigans, and then I've gone from that to making very lightweight cardigans.
Sure.
This one and the one I'm wearing, and I've got two on the needles that I just like because they're lightweight.
Yeah.
I will never ever wear heavy sweaters like that, ever.
Ever.
So yeah, so they're either gonna, I don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
but
Well, in Texas, you don't have a chance.
Well, no, really, the way we travel, we don't need heavy
Right.
sweaters.
Right.
We may a little bit when we go to Missouri, but we'll see. And there are some days in Texas where you need a sweater, but typically it's a cardigan like this. It's not a heavy cardigan. So
Okay.
that is Sweaters Through the Ages.
All right. Very nice.
So this segment is called Harry Potter Fast Paced. And what we've got here is Harry Potter mosaic from start to finish in 7 minutes, I think. It's something like 7 minutes. So right here, I am starting it. I had already traced the shape on there. It's on the Ouija board. And I'm typically looking for pieces that fit and nipping a little with those wheeled nippers. I'm using a little more glue than I should because you see the glue. I'm going to have to pick some of that later. Probably you'll see it very fast picking at some point. But yeah, his hair is coming along. So basically it's just the shape of his hair, his glasses, and the lightning bolt. And it'll have a white background in the end. But
What do you use the white background?
I'd want the black to show up.
So it shows.
So yeah, definitely for contrast.
The contrast on it. Okay.
Right. So yeah, I wanted it just to be pretty much black and white.
Okay. Well, the other thing is, the other question I have is that you got a wood frame there. What's the stuff that's you're putting it on?
It's called Wedi board, WEDI, from Germany. It's a very light cement board that a lot of mosaic artists use. It's waterproof. It's light. You can cut it with an X-Acto knife. I buy it in big sheets from mosaic companies, and it comes in huge cartons. And we cut it up and save every little piece because it's not cheap, but worth every penny. Doesn't warp.
And it doesn't work.
And
That's
it doesn't
important.
work.
Yeah, that's
Very
really
important. Yes. It's, but you have to have it inside a frame because you see the edge of it if you don't have it. If you have it like as a tabletop or something, you couldn't do that.
Sure. So
So,
you're
yeah,
looking for
that
little
looks-
pieces that fit, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing the glasses now, and
Okay. And-
yeah, they're little tiny pieces. I
Yeah.
show it very, when you're going, you don't realize how fast the camera goes on this, so I was trying to show it every now and then, but, I'm cutting out the lightning bolt here with the saw, first with a glass stripper, and then with the saw, and then, there we go. And I put Vaseline on it so the lines wouldn't go away. And so I'm sawing it right there, and then
You see it, yeah, you see it real well there.
oh,
Yeah,
you know
that-
what, that was out of order. But
That's
anyway,
all right, it's-
the little tiny piece before that was the grinding of the lightning bolt. But yeah,
It's
you
all right.
probably
Well-
didn't even notice.
It was so fast.
It was so fast, it was like, oh, well, whatever. But anyway, so I cut it quickly with a long stripper, and then I used the saw, and then I ground it to make it the exact shape I
You
wanted.
know, I'm a little worried because I know how the gnomes are growing. Because every day there's more and more and more. Look how fast you're working. Ooh.
Yeah, well, it would be nice if I worked that fast, but yeah, this is over several days
Yeah,
that I
it
made
takes
this.
time.
Yeah, so the white, at the beginning, I'm just picking up pieces and finding a place for them. And I'm really, really picky about very small grout lines, so they have to be close together.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
You cut something if it does. You need something to
yeah,
fit.
definitely.
Yeah,
I'm
you
I'm
cut it.
using a nipper in there, but it's hard for you to tell. But and then there are times in here I think where I'm filling the little glue.
Well-bond glue,
So those
okay.
little glues look like Elmer's glue, but they're not. They're Well-Bond. I fill that up.
I think Wellbond's also safe to use, I believe. I remember reading
Surely
it
it
inside.
is.
Surely it is, or we'd both be
Surely it
dead
is.
now.
I do have a fan in that room, so
Yeah,
that's.
that's good.
Oh, here
Ventilation's
we
good.
go. See, when I have tiny little spaces left, I'm looking for a tiny shape, like a little tiny triangle. And then once I find it, I often can't find where it goes because it was such a tiny space, so I'm tapping it. I don't have to tap it, I could just point to it, but
Sure.
it must
So you
be,
don't lose
it
where
must
you're
be a
at.
habit of mine.
Yeah, yeah.
That I tap it while I'm looking for the space.
So you know where you don't lose
So I
where
know
you put
where
it.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Smart.
look at this. This
coming
is
together.
coming together. Now I'm picking. Da-da-da. Okay,
Oh, it's
grouting
almost-
day.
Oh, grouting. I forgot about
So
grouting.
I'm taping the hair because I want the hair, it's more work to grout in two colors, but you have to on something like this.
Yeah.
The hair needed to be grouted in black.
So that's grout you're
So,
putting on now,
yep,
right?
I
Okay.
taped around the hair and grouted the black, wiped it down,
You
and
use
and I
gloves.
believe the next day, there
Or you take
comes
the
the
tape
tape
off
off.
so you can see it. Yeah, there you go.
And so, wipe it, pick it, play
Pick
with
some
it,
extra glue.
do it. And then the next day, I tape the other part. So I'm gonna tape
Okay.
the hair.
Yeah, it
And-
takes a lot of work, but it really is worth it. It
It's
shows
worth it.
off the,
It's definitely worth
Yeah,
it
it just shows it off
to
much better.
give the contrast that you need in the piece.
Yeah.
If I had grouted that all in white, it would have looked terrible. If I'd grouted it all in black, it wouldn't have looked
but
good.
on some things you can do that and it looks cool.
Yeah, you
But just
can.
on, things
I
where you
do
really
it-
want a lot
I
of
do it quite a
contrast
lot.
and,
So I did it
you know.
kind of in an off-white, because
Yeah.
I did want the grout to show a little. I
Yeah.
do want it to look like a mosaic.
Yeah.
I don't want it, I want the pieces to, look individual. So
There you go.
there's the background, and that's gonna sit a while.
let it
I am wearing my Spam shirt.
Spam, that's a
Spam
whole
Museum,
nother story.
Minnesota.
I've been there,
I've never had Spam, but I have a shirt.
and you've been to the museum. So now you're wiping it down and you're picking.
Yep, wiping it a little more, getting all the extra grout out, getting the tape off.
Where's the Spam Museum? Quick.
It's in,
Spam, Minnesota?
Aust-
No.
Austin, Minnesota.
Okay, got it. You get points. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
You gotta finish this up.
Yeah.
Look at that. Holy
Oh,
crap.
man,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna show a picture in slow speed at the very end of this. So I think this is probably winding down right now.
Okay, here we go. It's kind of,
It's not talking now. I think, or maybe it is. There's Harry.
there's
I think
Harry.
it-
It's still talking. There's Harry.
Episode 5, but I wanted to show you one more
Done.
thing about socks and bags and socks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, well.
Those are bags?
These are 2 Fibertown bags from Emily of Fibertown. And what I do is make my socks 2 at a time, but separately. So I separate the yarn in half, 2 balls, and I then cast on both socks, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 at a time, da-da-da, da-da-da, right? And I make them simultaneously. This yarn is actually from Knitspin Farm, and it is called Commentator. And I just learned in the middle of the night when I wasn't sleeping, because she put a podcast. Okay, Joanna Spring of Knitspin Farm podcasted a long time ago. One of my very favorite podcasters. and she stopped podcasting. She lives in a farm in Indiana. She dyes her own yarn. She has her own sheep. She has this amazing farm. Anyway, she did a short podcast, and it uploaded like at 2 a.m. when I wasn't sleeping. And I think I was the first viewer.
You probably were. Do you get a prize?
I think surely I do. But anyway, this is, she showed this yarn on the podcast. It's called Commentator, and I didn't know the origin of that. Is the colors in here are all the colors of potatoes that she has grown.
Okay, yeah.
How cool is that?
That's cool. I wasn't sure what commentator meant.
Commentator.
I mean, like speaking about something, like
not
commentator.
Commentator.
Potato.
Potato. Yeah.
I got
So
you. Now I'm
anyway,
with you. With you now.
so that's knit. I love her yarn. That is Knit Spin Farm yarn
Okay.
in Fibertown bags. Cool. But then I got this silly sock blank, and I'm not even sure I like sock blanks. And I'm not sure you understood what it was last time.
Well, I got confused last time because I thought that was already done. I thought it was a watermelon.
Well, it is a watermelon,
But I don't
and it is done.
It is done, but it's not done.
It was done on a knitting machine.
Okay.
Okay, so they
So
make this
then-
big strip of knitting, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
dye it. So they made it look like a watermelon.
Okay,
Right?
yeah, I got the
And then they
watermelon.
sold it to me.
And you bought it, right? Then
this
what did you
is-
do with it?
Well, this is called a double sock plank. So what happens is the yarn comes, two strands of yarn come off the top
At
of
the same time,
and then
different
you
places?
undo it as you knit.
Oh, that's too
And it's-
confusing.
Yeah, well, it isn't confusing.
It's not confusing.
See,
Wait,
here's the good thing
okay.
about this bag.
Yes.
Okay, because I usually use 2 separate bags, but in this case, they're attached. And when you put them all in there, they become a big mess. But my
Okay.
friend Sheila,
Oh, Sheila, yeah,
geez, I
Sheila.
wasn't going to say her name.
Cool ladies. Well, don't remember her name. Really forget her name. Heloise. It was Heloise.
Eloise from Michigan came
Heloise from
to
Michigan.
visit
Yeah.
in Minnesota. We went to the fabric store because she does a lot of quilting, and she sneakily bought this fabric that had all the towns in Minnesota on
Oh,
it,
cool.
including Bemidji. How cool is that?
Oh, God.
But okay, the cool thing about this, wait, let me now straighten this out because
Okay, I'm going to pan in on the bag a little bit here because I can't get your head in the bag at the same time.
So the cool thing about this bag for this
Let's look at
sock
the bag.
blank is, wait,
I'm right here with you. I'm with you.
see, now it looks like a mess, and it really isn't a mess.
It's not a mess.
Okay, there. See, there's one strand coming out.
Sure.
Sort of. Yeah, we'll call it one. So when I work on one, and it's all these pockets on the outside. So when it feels like
Okay.
it's pulling too much, and I need to work on the other one.
Yeah.
I tuck it into
tuck
an
it in there?
outside pocket.
Did she design this thing?
Yes, for me.
Does she have a patent on it?
I don't know.
Maybe we
and
can get a patent
then
on
I
it.
pull
Oh.
the one on the inside out and
Oh my
do that.
God, I'm impressed.
Don't
I like
you
that.
think
I think that's
good?
wonderful.
See those outside
I think
pockets?
I think it's actually
It's
really
just-
bright.
Eloise,
Eloise is
you're a genius.
She's a genius. Eloise is.
Anyway, we're going to say goodbye.
We're gonna say goodbye.
Charlie and I, and until next time, please
Do something.
like and subscribe. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. We have 32 or 33 subscribers.
3,300?
which is more than I ever thought we'd have.
No.
And yeah, the Etsy shop, and I'll put a list anyway, but I have 2 accounts on
You
Instagram.
can buy gnomes too.
Yes,
Gnomes are your friend
because you're scared.
because you're scared of the gnomes.
Instagram
life.
is Mosaics by Virgin is one account, and the other account is Knitting Mosaic Madness. So anyway, see you in one of those places.
I'm going to pan
Until
up
later.
as we say goodbye and show you a piece of work that Virginia did. So don't hold with me.
Oh,
See up here. There you go. That's her work. The 2
that
over here.
is, yeah, that
Those
is
are hers.
large.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.